y'all, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Danielle, for those of you who may not know, and on this channel we use smart and logical decision making to create the lives that we want. We manifest the lives that we want. We live our best lives. So here you will find mostly advice videos and tips I've learned over, the 3 decades I've been here. And also, you'll see a few vlogs and different things, because I think one of the most important things for us to do when we're leveling up is to actually witness and enjoy our lives. So I allow, my YouTube subscribers to witness some of my day-to-day, witness some of the things that I do to occupy my time. So yes, so all of that good stuff you will find on this channel. So today I am coming before you. My face is not beat to the gods today, which is, not normal. However, I am going to sit down, talk with you about today's subject, and clean all of my filthy makeup brushes. So we have all of these makeup brushes to clean today, and I'm going to talk with you about what happened to the divestment community in the last quarter of, actually probably the last half of 2020. Okay, so I'm gonna use this stuff that I absolutely despise, Japonesque. I don't even know how to say it, but I got it on Amazon. I was trying to find a dupe for Cinema Secrets, which is my actual fave. This is not a dupe, this is garbage, but I bought it, so I'm gonna use it. It's almost gone. Well, I actually have a date tomorrow, so I'm gonna be proactive because I don't have that much time between when I get off work and when I have to be there. So I'm gonna use today to clean up my makeup brushes, because I'm not about to apply and all of that stuff. So I'm coming before you as I am, okay? My eyebrows look crazy. And I actually use my Cinema Secrets 10 because I have like a bajillion of these. So I actually use my 10, and then I don't like this stuff because it leaves an oily residue. I went through a whole spiel on Amazon when I purchased it. But anyway, so I only wrote down like a couple notes. I'm really gonna wing this conversation, and hopefully it won't be too long. But so I want to talk about what happened to the divestment community, and also what happened to me in divestment, and where I am in my divestment journey. And the first thing I would like to say is that it's not that I necessarily think the divestment community is gone. I just think that we are moving differently in the divestment community, because as you grow, as you learn new things, including about yourself, about other people, about Black women, about even the people that we've divested from, I think it's important that we grow and move. I think there are still Black women talking about, divestment and its importance. Namely, I know, and I want to speak on people who are self-proclaimed divested and actually call themselves divested. So a lot of the Black girl faves on YouTube, they don't consider themselves divested, so I'm not talking about those women. And just because you talk about divestment, that doesn't necessarily mean you're divested. So I really just want to stick to the people that I've heard mention divestment. And I left my alcohol, and I need that because just to get this oil off. But I clean my brushes with a towel. A specific towel that I wash and use again. I don't necessarily think it's that the divestment community has disappeared. I don't think it's that the divestment community doesn't exist. I think a lot of divested Black women are just kind of gotten quiet, especially in terms of being on social media. And I'm no longer on Twitter, so I closed my Twitter. I deleted my Twitter like full on. It's not just a deactivation. I deleted my Twitter months and months ago. I probably deleted my Twitter maybe in June, June or July. It was a while ago. So I wasn't on Twitter that long, and I was picking up steam. Like, I had only been on Twitter since January, and I was already up to like maybe 600 600 followers on Twitter, and I'm not a big tweeter, but because of the content I was talking about, divestment and stuff like that, it was gaining traction in that sphere. Okay, but the reason why I deleted my Twitter was because, you know, I just felt like, I still feel as though a lot of these conversations I no longer need, especially, but we to talk in public. I think that a big thing that people do when they don't want to actually change is continue to bring up the same old topics. You know, I think a lot of black women went through this phase during George Floyd, went through this phase during Breonna Taylor. You know, oh, I need to put that in my notes, what I really wanted to talk about, because I have a 2020 recap coming. All the black dudes that was hitting women with skateboards. You know, I deleted my Twitter because I think that black women just get to a place where, listen, I got to a place where I no longer wanted to be a part of the gathering of complainers. Like, I didn't want to, you know, I was growing traction, and I was starting to quickly grow traction into a direction that I didn't want to be a part of. That includes YouTube, because I did get a lot of subscribers from Twitter, and so from the conversations that I was having. But you know what, I was like, you know what, at some point, after sitting back and listening to black women, watching how black women move, watching how, you know, the bigger YouTubers, and looking at their comment sections and things like that, in my humble opinion, I believe that black women, majority of black women, has no intention of doing better. They have absolutely no intention of actually doing better and making different decisions. You know, for the most part, I can only speak for myself, but for me, I really stop talking about divestment out loud, because I believe that some things should be in secret. I believe that there are steps that each and every one of us should take to level up, and as we're leveling up and to get ourselves out of the predicament, even if you're not into this level up conversation, I really believe that it's time that black women actually make decisions that is going to change our lives for the better. And so what I kept seeing, and what I continue to see, is a bunch of women who just want to get together and complain. I don't have a clown in that circus, and so I don't want to be one of those people. And I was quickly gaining traction as one of those black women who are bold enough to talk about this kind of stuff in public. My thing is, when I talk about leveling up and when I talk about creating lives, again, I want to reiterate, I do not teach femininity. I'm not a self-proclaimed super duper femininity coach, or know all about that stuff, or even care, if you want to be honest. I just care about getting in the life that I want and being happy for myself, whatever that means for me, and I want the same for other black women. So it's not that I'm definitely very much divested, trust me, but I think that black women need to really apply nuance in the conversation, and that's just not happening. So I think that it is counterproductive to talk about every single time black men disrespect us, to talk about every single topic. Now, again, I will acknowledge that those conversations need to be had. There are always people, late trickle-inners, late stragglers to the party, okay, who don't know who all of this information is new to. And for me and my channel, that you will have to look at my older video. Actually, you'll have to join Patreon, because I took away all of those videos. Some things I do deem worthy to speak on, and those things will be on my Patreon as well. But for the most part, what I really want black women to do is actually move differently. And a lot of the black women that even I would speak to, or channels that I would watch that are very much divested, they are either gone from YouTube, or they're not talking about the things that they talk about, that they've changed. Some of them have changed their names and all this other kind of stuff. You know, personally, me, I stand by everything that I say and do. because not only are these videos edited, but I don't say things that I don't mean, and I go through things before I actually say them. So I don't regret anything that I said. Nothing I said I believe, and my truth is wrong, and I'm still very much divested. However, I want to be the YouTuber that shows black women how to actually move forward, because at the end of the day, if you're continuing to talk about black men 24/7, talk about muling in the black community, like to me, in March, April, and May, that's about enough time as I would give those conversations. It's not that I'm not divested, and I think a lot of the divested women still very much are divested. We just move differently. I think there's women like Cerebral, for an example, who's divested, and she still makes videos on these topics, and she still talks about them. I believe the pink pill, Crystalline, I believe she also is self-proclaimed divested. Don't quote me on that. I do believe that she is self-proclaimed divested, and she still makes videos. So there are still women talking about this. The thing is with me is I know what direction I want my channel to go in, and I was kind of gaining traction with an audience that didn't really see my vision, and that the audience is best served in other places. I'm gonna switch up on you, baby. When it's time to move on and to grow, I'm gonna move on and grow. And if you want to continue to be held down and to not manifest the actual life that you want, this is not the place for you. Now, you can still learn from my channel, but I do think it's important that I explain to black women where I'm coming from, and to my subscribers who may have been used to me speaking on certain things and then may feel like I've changed. So, you know, I've also heard recently the divestment community has kind of stopped doing a lot of talking on Twitter too. You know, with the conversations that I had about it, to me, it's not that I believe the divestment, these women are no longer divested or their journeys were fake and short-lived. I believe that these women, and I say that because a lot of us were on the same page, and much like me, I don't converse about these things 24/7 or hardly ever anymore, but I'm very much divested, and I'm very much living a divested life from the black community. And so my idea for my channel is to show black women how to enjoy your life, you know, to be able to watch someone divested enjoy their life. You do what you want to do to enjoy your, you know, it doesn't have to be traveling, it doesn't have to be, you know, the things that I enjoy, but you do your own thing. You know, if you enjoy shopping and you enjoy luxury items, then do that. Whatever you do, just find something that you enjoy. And so it's not that I believe the divestment community has totally left. It's just that I believe we're moving differently, and we're moving in silence, and we're living for ourselves, and we're enjoying our lives, especially in a year like this. So much in 2020 has been revealing to us, and a lot of us do have to take that in. I know a lot of even my subscribers were SJWs and now have to totally find a new purpose. They now have to totally, you know, course correct on their lives, and sometimes that take some silencing from the outside world. Yeah, I think there's a lot of confusion going on in the divestment, not in the divestment community necessarily, but in the people who are trying to figure out what divestment is, namely the black women who are trying to figure out if divesting is something that is for them. And you know, I think vast majority of black women don't think so, and I also think that the vast majority of black women aren't ready to totally let go of their ideals. And so for me, I'm building a different audience than what my original audience was starting to be. Now, I have some loyal subbies that I absolutely love and I talk to regularly. And I think a lot of my subbies are great. They bring a lot of great info to the table and even opening my eyes to things that I may not have thought about previously. And so what I really want a lot of black women, even if you're new to this channel and you're used to me talking about certain topics, you know, I will talk about certain things. I'm not saying that I'm never going to talk about divestment ever again because I'm talking about it now, but I am focusing on actual leveling up in real life, jotting down notes about what's feminine and what's not, jotting down notes about how to get a man and how to date is not the same thing as actually watching someone do it, okay? And I want to be an example, an actual example. That's what I'm doing. I'm enjoying decorating my house. I'm enjoying, now it's Christmas time, I'm enjoying spending time with my friends and family, and I'm taking a lot of people, I'm taking the people who watch these videos along with me, and so you get to see how a divested woman live, okay? I'm enjoying my life, dating and things like that, and making smart decisions, and also being logical about our options and being logical and strategic about the moves that we make. And so that is, I'm going to start doing more sit down videos and not just these blog-ish videos that I've been doing, but I'm still going to very much do vlogs because I enjoy them and it's something that makes me happy. You know, I enjoy it, and so it's not, even if nobody watches it, you know, I still will put out the information because it's fun. And then you can learn something from me, I can learn something from you, and all that good stuff. So the last thing I wanted to mention about what's happening in the divestment community is it's a lot of conflating information and it's a lot of conflating conversations that's happening, and I think a lot of people are confusing divestment, femininity, and hypergamy and other things in this leveling up and all of this kind of stuff. I think a lot of black women are conflating the meaning of these things. These are hypergamy, divestment, interracial dating, leveling up, femininity. All of these things are separate things. These things are not one and the same. Now, these things do relate to each other. Oftentimes with hypergamy, if you plan on being hypergamous, you have to level up. If you plan on leveling up and you're a woman, you have to play to your womanhood, which means for most of us, femininity. A lot of these things are misconstrued and conflating as if they're the same when they're totally separate entities that often entangle with one another. And I think it's overwhelming for a lot of black women. I think that a lot of black women are a lot of this information is new to a lot of us, and when something begins to be too much, people just quit. And so a lot of what I see is black women congregating on certain channels to complain, to fuel drama, to be in the midst of mess. And you won't find Danielle there. I don't play those games. You know, there are definitely, I've listened to a lot of the same YouTubers, but I listen to new YouTubers too and focus on other things that makes me happy as a person. And I think it's really important that everyone knows the difference between femininity, between leveling up, and yes, to some degree, some of us have different definitions of these things. And so to me, femininity is playing up on womanhood, the feminine energy, the feminine aspect of things. You know, the way things that are opposite of masculine, playing up those things either to your benefit or because it's your comfort zone. And as women, it's many of our comfort zones, whether we would like to admit it or not. Hypergamy is simple. Dating above your means, oftentimes, namely dating wealthy. But you know, I think the newer definition now, the more recent modern definition, is just being above your social class, your pay grade, or dating up. So, and for a lot of us, up is different. If I make $30,000 a year, dating somebody that makes $50,000 a year technically is dating up. If I make $100,000 a year, dating someone that makes $200,000 a year is dating up. But if I make $1 million, maybe dating somebody that make $10 million is that person's definition of hypergamy. You know, hypergamy does, I believe its origination was more so speaking on dating in your higher social class, in a higher social class. And so, you know, I think it's important that we be realistic about it. First of all, it's not that many millionaires and billionaires in the world where everybody who watch hypergamy videos can actually find one of those people. I think it's also important that Black women and you, yes, you as an individual, figure out what you want. Because personally for me, after consuming all of this information, I take everything with a grain of salt anyway. But there are a lot of people who will take this new information they're excited about word for word. But you have to figure out what you want. I had to figure out what I wanted. I have no desire to be in high society. Okay, I have no desire to go to tea parties with billionaires. I have no desire to do those things. I have no desire to move and shake in certain spaces. Okay, I have no desire to do those things, none. And so I'm not going to listen to these channels and then try to move myself into high class, super wealthy, high class environments. I'm not going to do that. Now, does that mean I want a dusty? No. Does that mean I want somebody that make $50,000? No. You know, and $50,000 might be a lot of money to somebody, but it's not to me. And so I just have to find the range that's happy, that will make me happy, what I'm looking for. I have no desire in living that kind of life. So, you know, being around fake people and having the fake smile and schmooze and rub shoulders with the rich and famous, I have no desire to do that. And I'm just being real with you. So for me, you know, some of that information, yes, I do have to take with a grain of salt and know that yes, I'm gonna level up. Yes, I'm gonna play up my femininity. Yes, I'm gonna rest in my feminine glory, but I'm not doing it so I can get a man that makes $20 million a year, you know. And so we have to be realistic about these conversations, and we have to understand, you know, you would think some people would use common sense and logic before they said certain things, like obviously femininity, hypergamy, you know, leveling, those are totally separate words, meaning they have separate definitions. So you would think people would know better, but frankly a lot of people don't like to think that hard, and a lot of people want the information handed to them. They want a step-by-step guide, and it's not that simple. Okay, so listen, I want to thank you all so much for tuning into this video. Thank you all for sticking with me as I change the trajectory of my channel so that we can have more fun. I can show you what it's like to be, you know, leveling up in real time, to be enjoying my life in real time. If you liked and enjoyed this video, if you would potentially like to hear something else about it any deeper, you'll have to go to Patreon. But hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you feel so compelled, hit the notification bell so that you will know every time I upload a new video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.